The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. What you resist, persists. For better to come, good must stand aside. We don't really heal anything, we simply let it go. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Everything that irritates us about others can lead to an understanding of ourselves. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence. Understood, it becomes a living experience. In all chaos, there is a cosmos, in all disorder, a secret order. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. The bigger the crowd, the more negligible the individual becomes. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. In each of us, there is another whom we do not know. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Nobody can fall so low, unless he has a great depth. I don't aspire to be a good man. I aspire to be a whole man. Nobody, as long as he moves about among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. Where your fear is, there is your task. Everyone is in love with his own ideas. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. Don't hold on to someone who's leaving, otherwise, you won't meet the one who's coming. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The kernel of all jealousy is lack of love. How can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also, if I am to be whole. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego, the second half is going inward and letting go of it. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. The heaviest burden for a child is the unlived lives of its parents. Children are educated by what the grown-up is, and not by his talk. If there is anything that we wish to change in the child, we should first examine it, and see whether it is not something that could better be changed in ourselves. Whatever is rejected from the self appears in the world as an event. Find out what a person fears most, and that is where he will develop next. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. Man cannot stand a meaningless life. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. When you are up against a wall, put down roots like a tree, until clarity comes from deeper sources, to see over that wall and grow. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Anyone who attempts to do both, to adjust to his group and at the same time pursue his individual goal, becomes neurotic. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven, unless its roots reach down to hell. Sensation tell us a thing is. Thinking tell us what it is this thing is. Feeling tells us what this thing is to us. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. Which quote did you like the most? Share your opinion in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications, so you don't regret missing life-changing advice from some of the greatest thinkers in history. I will see you in the next